Perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on here, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
A very good day to you and welcome back to the show. This is, of course, the Chat Wrap on Relaks Radio. And I am Jamie, and I'm going to be here with you for a couple more hours talking to you about a lot of interesting things. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relaks Radio as we talk about so many different things that I want to keep you updated about, okay? With that being said, we were talking about a certain set of skills that I think are absolutely important in order to, become successful and become somebody great, okay? And I told you of two skills we spoke of already, and I told you one of the most important skills is time management. You need to manage your time. It's something that all employers look for. It's something that if you want to be successful, it's definitely something that you need to master. And the other skill that I thought was very important was empathy. I told you how you can be the most brilliant person out there, but if you can't, empathize with people and care for people, then you're basically just a sociopath, okay? You need to be able to empathize with people to sell your product. You need to be able to empathize with people to become successful, because at the end of the day, we'll live in a community of people, and you need to know how to cater to all of these people that you live with. So those are the two skills that we already spoke of, but I have a few more skills that I think is absolutely important that I'm going to talk to you about. But I want you to let me know, do you think these are the skills that are absolutely important, or do you think there are more skills that you deem to be absolutely essential when you are on your way to success or whatnot? Go ahead and let me know by leaving a comment down below, or by calling me on 07852 473 473, or make sure to download our app as well, because it's available absolutely free of charge on iOS and Android. So head on over to Play Store or App Store and download our app, because if you have our app, you have access to us 24/7, and you can listen to the podcast, so you can keep yourself informed, inspired as well. So make sure that you keep it tuned. Make sure that you be a part of this journey with us here at Relaks Radio. With that being said, let's head on over to more conversation, and that's about skills that are hard to learn but will pay off forever. Like I told you, we already spoke of time management, we already spoke of empathy, and the other skill that, okay, again, this comes from a very personal place, okay? This comes from an exceptionally personal place, because I think one of the most important things is to learn how to master your sleep. Okay, now I know this can be like, why does that even matter? But hear me out for a second, okay? I think mastering your sleep is an absolutely essential skill, because there are so many prescribed sleep hacks out there, and it's so hard to kind of keep track. Okay, but regardless of what you choose, establishing a ritual can definitely ensure that you have a restful night. And so many studies have showed that having consistent sleep schedules make it so much easier for you to be productive and for you to fall asleep, wake up, and it kind of gives you the boost that you need to get all of your tasks in order and to accomplish all of your goals. So being somebody that suffers with a very, very disastrous schedule, with a very disastrous sleep pattern, I think it's so important to master a proper sleep schedule. Now, the other thing is positive self-talk. This is a skill, okay? Not everybody can be positive all the time. Not everybody can positively talk to themselves, right? And I think that's why it is such an important skill to develop, to learn. Okay, ultimately, it does not matter what other people think of you. Okay, it's what you think of yourself that actually matters, and it kind of takes so much time and effort and skill of it takes this level of confidence and ability to believe in yourself when nobody else does. Okay, so positive self talk is definitely a skill that you need to learn to acquire. It's not just going to come to you. You need to, just like every other habit, you need to put in a significant amount of effort to develop that particular skill. Consistency is important. I think also another skill that is important is public speaking. See, you can have the most amazing product to sell to the world, but if you can't actually sell it, if you can't actually get your product out there, then what's the point, right? So yes, I think public speaking is yet another extremely important life skill to have, and it's something that you could learn. Talk to yourself in front of the mirror if that scares you, and those are little things that you can do to essentially learn the skills that are absolutely important. What else? We've spoken of managing your time, having empathy, positive self-talk, and the other thing I think that you need to talk to, or rather a skill that you need to develop, is to be honest with yourself. We will talk to you about this in just a little bit. Right now, though, we're going to be heading off into a little break.
We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting or total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? And the company may still have value and may still be doing quite a good things.
A very good day to you, and welcome back to the show. I am Jamie, and this is, of course, the Chat Up on Relaks Radio. I know it's Monday, and Mondays can be exceptionally hard, okay? It can be really hard to get back into the groove, especially after you've had, the weekend. It can be really hard to get back into your day-to-day activity, but one thing that I do want you to remember is to kind of go easy on yourself. You put in as much effort as you possibly could, and just believe in yourself. As terrible and as cliche as that may sound, you definitely need to learn to be patient, and you need to go easy on yourself, because it's not easy for anybody, especially Mondays. They're double the trouble, okay? So just go easy on yourself. Have a lot of positivity when you get your day-to-day work activities done, and make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relaks Radio, because we're here to give you that inspiration and give you that little push of positivity that you need on a day-to-day basis. Now, I am Jamie, and I'm going to be with you for a couple more hours talking to you about a lot of interesting things. So go ahead and be a part of the show by calling me on 07852473473, or by leaving a comment down below if you're listening to us on our social media platforms. With that being said, we've been having some pretty interesting conversation. We've been talking about life skills that people don't usually think of, but are absolutely important to learn if you want to be successful. And I think the first two, we spoke about three things actually so far. And I told you one of the most important life skills is time management. Because you can be the richest, smartest person, but if you cannot manage your time, no employer, nobody is going to want to deal with you. So that is definitely a life skill that you need to develop. The second life skill that I told you was important, and there was a few of you that didn't agree with the amount of value that I place on this skill, but I definitely think one of the most important skills to have in life is to be able to empathize with people. Because I told you, no matter how independent you are, no matter how self-sufficient you are, at the end of the day, if you can't get along, because we live in a community, we live in a society with different kinds of people, and if you can't learn to accept different kinds of people, it doesn't matter how smart and ingenious you are, if you can't empathize with other people, that basically makes you a sociopath. Okay, so I think one of the most important skills also that you need to learn is to be able to empathize with other people. The third skill that we already spoke of is positive self-talk, and I told you how people don't just randomly be extremely positive. It's a habit that you need to develop, that you need to put effort into getting it done. Okay, so you need to learn every day. You need to tell yourself, force yourself to be positive, and that essentially is going to turn into a habit. Because I've told you this before, but can I tell you the most interesting thing? Apparently, for you to form a habit, it takes 27 days. So if you force yourself to be positive for 27 days, you're going to develop a habit. You're going to develop that skill of positivity. The fourth thing, being honest with yourself, is another skill that is absolutely important. Whatever you're doing, you must be brutally honest with yourself. Sometimes it's really hard to be honest with other people, but that doesn't matter. You need to be honest with yourself, especially when it comes to your career, especially when it comes to important things. Always know that you compete with nobody. Okay, you compete with yourself. Run your own race, and the competitor in that race is yourself. Okay, so that's basically something that I did want to let you know. Also, know what you know, and also be aware of what you do not know. That's called being brutally honest with yourself. Just focus on being good at what you do. Stop complaining. That again is another skill that you need to learn, which means that you need to put effort to learn to stop complain or stop whining. We must learn to stop whining about what will happen, what is not going to happen. A lot of us cry and complain about the things that we don't have, forgetting to acknowledge the things that we do already have. Okay, so instead, practice a life of no whining, no criticizing, no complaining, because that essentially is also a skill that you need to learn. Finally, focus on the present moment. Being in the present moment is where you will have the greatest control, where you will feel the most at ease. I always talk about how a lot of the time we humans, we tend to stress about things that we can't control. Okay, but at the end of the day, you need to realize that there is a super tight connection between happiness and between the ability to live in the present moment. So yes, a skill that you absolutely need to master is focusing on the present. And notice how I said it was a skill, which means you are going to have to put effort into learning how to focus on the present moment. Okay, staying in the present is the skill of having your mind focus on now. Okay, focus in the moment, not in the past, not in the future, but right here. That again is something very important that I need you to remember. Okay, these are all very, very important skills that I deem to be absolutely essential if you want to be successful. So go ahead and let me know if you agree with me. 07852473473 is the number to call me. Or if you want to be a part of the show, leave a comment down below as we talk to you about so many interesting things. Show us some love on our social media as well: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Periscope, Twitch, basically everything. Okay, so make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. With that being said, we're going to head off on into a little break.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, has how much it's changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Well, you didn't do very well. And they get upset, And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. Well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, my dad would say to me, you had one to forget.